Guys, I got some porcini mushrooms. Let's make raviolis. So the first thing we're going to do is soften up these mushrooms. We're going to steep them in hot water like they were tea. So I open them up, I'm going to put them in a bowl. I have some boiling water. I'm just going to pour that right over them. We're going to let those set for a little while. We'll just set them aside, let them soften up, and we'll start making our pasta dough. So my general rule of thumb, I use the same pasta recipe every time I make it. I use 2 cups of this flour. I go ahead and use my fingers there and just create a little well. Then I'm going to use 2 eggs, plus I like to add 1 egg yolk. So I'm just going to crack those into a bowl first. I'll get my yolk in there. Then we're going to go ahead and pour that right into the well. And get some olive oil. And I just put a drizzle in there, probably about a tablespoon and a half. And I start mixing that around with a fork, hitting the sides a little bit, bringing in that flour. And it's going to start kind of creating this thick paste here. We're just going to keep kneading that all together, incorporate all that moisture with the dry, mix it back and forth, just keep kneading. You're going to want to knead this for about 7 or 8 minutes. Get it nice and silky. Just keep at it. This takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it in the end. When you're done, you should have a piece of dough that looks like this. Guys, get some plastic. We're going to go ahead and just wrap this up. I leave it at room temperature. We're going to let it set for about an hour. Let those glutens develop. That's perfect. We'll set it aside. We're going to get back to our mushrooms. So my porcinis are nice and soft now. They've been sitting in that water. I'm going to go ahead and just chop them up. They chop up real easily. I kind of give them a nice mince back and forth. Get them nice and small. Then I put them back into that water. I'm just going to let them sit there and soak. Wait a few minutes till we cook the rest of our mushrooms, which are going to start with these baby bellas. I'm going to go ahead and get those all sliced up for starters. Once those are sliced up, guys, I have some really nice white mushrooms also. And we're going to slice those. So I'm going to just get them sliced. That's a good start. Makes them nice and thin. Then we're going to go through and just chop them back and forth. Guys, we're making a mushroom duxelle here. So the idea is to get these things chopped really, really fine. So just keep at it. This takes a few minutes. Just back and forth, back and forth. Be patient. Be sure you get them all. Bring that pile back together. Once you get them all chopped up, we're just going to set these aside. I'm putting them in a bowl. And we're going to go ahead and get everything else ready for our duxelle. I've got a shallot. We're going to go ahead and mince the shallot. So we give a couple cross cuts, a couple vertical slices. This is going to help us just mince this thing really nice. Keep nice even cuts. There we go. Our shallot's ready. And guys, I've also got some garlic. Now the garlic, we're going to do a little bit differently. Basically, we're going to take some cloves and we're going to slice those just like we did the mushrooms. Then we'll go ahead and just give that a nice chop and get these things all done. The garlic goes in a dish and we're going to cut some fresh herbs, guys. It's the last thing we're going to need. So I got rosemary and thyme. I put my rosemary down on the board and then I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bunch of thyme. I set it right down on top. You can chop those stems. It's okay as long as you're getting them minced up. They don't have any bitterness to them. So go ahead and get that all chopped. Throw your herbs in a bowl. Set those aside and it's time to start cooking. So the shallots go down, a little olive oil. Just going to let those soften for about a minute. Now I'm going to make a little well right in the center. And we're going to go ahead and add our garlic in there. Same thing. Just let it soften for a second. We're not looking to brown this, just kind of soften it up. We don't want to caramelize this. Go ahead and get it stirred around, mix it up nice and well. We're going to go ahead and season it at this point. A little salt, some fresh cracked pepper. And then guys, we're going to go ahead and add in our mushrooms now. Those chopped mushrooms are going to be perfect here for cooking. They're going to go kind of quick because they're broke down already. Just kind of move these back and forth, stir them around. As the heat hits them, they're going to start breaking down. We're going to add another pinch of salt at this point. And a little more cracked black pepper. We're seasoning in layers here. Mix that around. Guys, we're going to go ahead and add those porcinis back in, as well as that broth and those fresh herbs, the rosemary and thyme. And then we're going to add some red wine. We'll just give this all a nice stir. And we're going to let that red wine start reducing. We want that to cook all the way down, almost until dry. So get this mixed up. stir it around, and then put it on a medium heat and just let that simmer down. That's looking perfect. Guys, at this point, we're going to add some heavy cream. And I got some Reggiano Parmesan. We're going to throw some of that in there. Grate our cheese fresh. Go ahead and stir this around, guys. It's going to start thickening up. We're going to let it cook as well and let that cream reduce down. And this is going to get nice and thick. We'll add a little bit more cheese. This is starting to look absolutely perfect. We just let it finish cooking for another minute or two. We'll let a little bit more of that moisture cook out. It's going to start looking like this, guys, and you know you're ready. Throw it down in a dish. We want this to cool off. So we'll get it in another pan, spread it out. We'll set that aside. It's time to do our pasta. Now my pasta's been sitting for about an hour, so we're ready to roll this stuff out. Guys, I got my pasta roller. So this looks absolutely perfect. We start it in the roller, and we're going to roll some sheets here. So I got one at a time, and then what you do is you fold it over. We're going to go put it back through there, and I actually did this about 10 times, the fold in half, fold it back through, put it back through, and I do it a whole bunch. Then we slowly start going through, and I stretch the dough, and I put it on number 5. That's where I'm going to leave it for these raviolis. Then I'm going to put a little ball of filling just down the line. Use a little bit of egg in there. It's going to help seal it. And guys, I'm going to pull this dough right back over itself. I'm going to squeeze all the air out, kind of shape these little raviolis. I get my cutter. I'm going to give them a little cut. Check this out. That's perfect. That's good to go. So we'll cook those off in just a second. Let's make a little sauce for them, all right? It's just going to be a white wine mushroom cream sauce. So I'm going to start with a little butter. Got my shallots and my garlic. Those go down in the pan. Once again, not trying to caramelize them at this point. Just going to soften these up for a second. Let those flavors kind of start blooming. Then we throw in our mushrooms and give those a little tossy toss. I'm on a medium-high heat now. I want to really saute these. I want to get some color on them at this point. I want those mushrooms to caramelize. I add a little salt and pepper. And it already just smells amazing. So we'll let those go for a second. Spin them around in the pan, and those look great. Guys, we're going to deglaze with some white wine. Just a little bit. Pick up all the flavor from the bottom of the pan. Let that all come together. We're going to go ahead and add some heavy cream to this. This is going to be our sauce. We get some more of that Parmesan grated right in there. And then we're going to go ahead and stir this up. That parm's going to help thicken it up. We're going to let it reduce down. It's going to naturally thicken up. I'm not adding a thickener in here. I'm not putting a roux. I'm not going to use any cornstarch. I throw my raviolis in some salted boiling water. These are going to go for about 6 minutes. That's how long it took for that dough to just be perfectly cooked. The filling is already done, so really we just wanted a nice al dente dough. I give those a little toss in the sauce, and guys, we're good to go. Look at that. Man, it is dinner time. Throw down a couple, a little extra sauce. Man, just get in there and enjoy. Final touch, grated Parmesan. That is it. Guys, I took a bite. This was absolutely worth the over 3 hours it took to put together, complete, and eat. Oh, man, what a treat. Thanks for watching. Cheers, everyone.
That's freaking delicious. Wow.